are going to deal with inequalities again, only we're going to be trying to model and then try to solve like a real life scenario. And I know that a lot of times whenever we're thinking about like algebra and stuff, we're always trying to like determine how are we going to even use this in our life. And the thing is, if you do know somebody who's working either one job or more specifically, if they're working two jobs, right? If you know someone who's currently working two jobs, they're actually doing the exact same algebra that we're going to do, only they may not write it out and establish variables and look at constraints and all that other stuff like that. But ideally in their mind, they're doing the exact same thing. They're trying to determine, okay, how many hours can I work here, and how many hours do I need to work here so that I can get this amount of money at the end of the week so I can pay my bills or buy sneakers or like buy the new jacuzzi or whatever it is that they want to buy, right? So in this scenario, we have someone named Marcel, and or Marcel, I don't know. We'll call it Marcel. So Marcel earns $8 per hour working at the grocery store, and then he also teaches guitar lessons for $10 per hour. He wants to earn at least $200 per week. Okay, so before we move on though, I want to just underline that real quick. At least $200 per week. Okay, what does at least mean? And if you're not sure, because I know you do know this, think about when you're in school and what's the score that you need to get to get at least a passing grade. Okay, least meaning the minimum, okay, or the lowest possible score that you can get at your school, because it differs at different schools, right? I know sometimes it's like 65 is the lowest passing score that you can get, and at other schools it might be like a 70. So when they say he wants to earn at least 200, that means that he wants to, at the bare minimum, he needs to get $200. He would be so happy with more than $200, but he needs $200 every week to guarantee that he's able to buy or pay for whatever it is that he needs to pay for. Okay, so the inequality, and we know that it's an inequality because of the symbol right here. Okay, the inequality 8x plus 10y is greater than or equal to 200 represents the situation where x represents the number of hours that Marcel works at the grocery store, and y is going to represent the number of hours he spends giving guitar lessons. So what are some possible numbers of hours? Now notice here it says some possible numbers, meaning it's not just one set answer. Maybe he can work a certain number of hours here and a certain number of hours here to meet his goal, and maybe he can change it up. Maybe some weeks he can do, he can work more hours at the grocery stores, and instead he'll work less hours giving guitar lessons. Or maybe he's like, well, I make more with guitar lessons, let me work as much as I can with the guitar and then just leave the rest for the grocery store, right? So it's changing every week. So what are some possible number of hours that he could work at each job to meet his goal? So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to write this out so that we can kind of understand how this works. So here's, like, I've just put like a cashier, right? So here's my cashier, here's my guitar lessons, and here is the amount of money that he needs to get. And if we were to align this, we get 8x plus, okay, 10y is greater than, it's greater than or equal to sign, 200. And what this is essentially saying is, this is the amount per hour, okay? This is the number of hours. So whenever you see a term that says 8x, let's say I work 1 hour. If I work 1 hour and I'm making $8 per hour, how much money do we get at the end of that 1 hour? $8. And we can, if we were to substitute the x, right, because x represents the number of hours, okay, 8 times 1 would actually give us 8. What if I worked 5 hours? Okay, well, you can do 8, 16, 24, or you can just substitute in x for 5, do the multiplication, and you'll say, okay, well, at the end of those 5 hours working at $8 an hour, I should get $40. So that's what this term means, right? It's a combination of the amount of money per hour and the number of hours, and this total tells you the total amount of money that you're going to get. All right, so I'm just going to just erase this because we're going to actually need this space. All right, I'm going to rewrite that back. So we have, this tells you the total amount for working as a cashier. This tells you the total amount working, I guess, as a tutor, giving guitar lessons, right? $10 every hour for a certain number of hours. And this, he wants to make more than, so when I add both of these, he wants to make more than $200. All right. So I realized that my camera just totally froze there for a second. That's all right. All right. So doing this now, all right, how would we do this? Well, it's in order for us to work with a graph, okay, we're gonna have to actually graph this. So we need to get this in slope-intercept form by subtracting 8x from both sides. And we'll get that this 10y drops straight down, 10y, this greater than or equal to sign. And we cannot combine these, so we're gonna write these in slope-intercept form, right? Y equal to, not really equal to though, mx plus b. And then to get y by itself, we can just simply divide each one by 10, and we get that y is greater than or equal to, okay, I'm going to reduce this by dividing the top by 2 and the bottom by 2, and we get negative 4 over 5x plus 20. Now this is totally graphable, okay, and they've provided that here. So notice that here, this is not a complete graph, right? Technically, these graphs should go like this, but some of the constraints, right? Some of the constraints is that you cannot work negative, okay, negative hours. That would make no sense, right? Time is not negative, so all of this part of the graph is gone, right? We don't need any of that. This is all gone because this is the negative side, right? And we cannot work more than 24 hours. And that makes sense because that's why the graph ends at 20, because you can't work more than 24 hours in a day, right? There's only 24 hours. So that's why we're only left with the positive quadrant. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this, and we're going to graph this. So we start on our y-axis here at 20. Okay, so we're starting at 20, put a little dot there, and then we're going down by 4, and then right by 5. Okay, so we're gonna go down 4, and I noticed that there's only 2 boxes, so each box is actually 2, right? Hold on, let me make sure. Oops. Okay. All right, this is gonna be 18, 14. So when I go down by 2, I'm sorry, down by 4, I'm gonna go down only 2 boxes, right? Because 20 minus 4 is 16. And then we're gonna go right 5 spaces. Now notice again, this is also going up by 2s. So going right 5 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll be right in the middle here. So down 4 and then right 5. Okay, this is where 5 is gonna be. Then I'm gonna go down 4 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. Okay, it is a greater than or equal to sign, so we're going to use this line right here, okay, like this, and then finally it's greater than, okay, so which means that we're going to have to be shading above. So if we put a little man here, okay, we're going to be shading above like this. Okay, and this represents what all of our solutions are going to be. So what are some possible numbers of goals that he could make? Well, we can choose pretty much anything at this point. Let's see. Well, since our solution set is going to be here, okay, we can choose maybe this point. And this point is 17, comma 8, so 17, comma 8. Right, if we were to put this in here really quickly, let's see, 8 times 17 plus 10 times 8, right? I'm putting, this is x and y. We have, let's see, what is this going to be? What's 17 times 8? This is 136 plus 80, and this ends up being 216. Okay, and so now remember this whole thing over here, this tells you the number of possible hours that he could work each week. So it's not per day. They're asking what are some possible hours he could work at his job to meet his goal, and he's making it per week. Okay, so anything above here, he just needs to cover that per week. So this actually ends up being greater than 200. And if we were to add up the number of hours, okay, 17 plus 8 is going to be 25. So he can just work 25 hours for the whole week by just working 17 hours at the groceries, 8 hours doing guitar lessons, and he'll make the amount of money that he needs. But that's not the only solution though, because you can go back and choose anything else. So let's say we chose this one. Okay, remember anything inside where the shaded area is. So this is 6 comma 18. So I'm gonna write this here, 6 comma 18. And if we were to put it back inside the equation, 8x plus 10y is greater than or equal to 200. Okay, our x is going to be, see here's our x, right? Our x is 6 and our y is going to be 18. So when we put that in there, it's going to look like this: 8 times 6 plus 10 times 18, that's a 10, greater than or equal to 200. So this is 48. So if he works 6 hours at the groceries, he'll make $48. And if he works 18 hours as a tutor for the guitar, he'll make $180. And when you add this up, you get, I don't know what that is, 48 plus 180 is 228. So he'll make 228, which is definitely greater than or equal to the 200 he needs. Right? The last thing is, if we were to erase this, actually I'll just write it here. If we were to erase this, and let's say that we had chosen a point like here that's not in the shaded area. This is 4, right? 4 comma 8. So I'll do it on this side. 8x plus 10y is greater than or equal to 200, and the coordinate was 4 comma 8, right? This being again our x and this being our y. So we're going to substitute this 4 for the x. So 8 times 4 plus 10 times 8 is greater than or equal to 200. So we're left with 32 plus 80 is greater than or equal to 200. And when you add this up, you get that 112 should be greater than or equal to 200, but we know that that's not true. This is false. So he cannot make his goal if he chose any combination of hours down here, okay? Because technically he's only going to be working, what, 4 plus 8 is 12 hours, and that's not enough to make the amount of money that he needs to get. So he needs to be somewhere up here, choosing a combination of hours that go up here. Okay, so that's how we would solve a real world problem that looks like this.